Hello, my friend. I hope you will be okay today. Today we are going to discuss about a romantic poet. If you enjoy the video, press the subscribe button. Let's start. William Wordsworth was one of the most important English poets of the Romantic movement. He was born on 7 April 1770 in Cockermouth, Cumberland, in the Lake District of England. The Lake District, with its mountains, rivers, and natural beauty, had a deep influence on his life and poetry. His father, John Wordsworth, was a lawyer and worked as an agent for the Earl of Lonsdale. His mother, Anne Cookson Wordsworth, died when William was only 8 years old. This early loss affected him deeply. After his mother's death, he was sent to Hawkshead Grammar School in the Lake District. There, he spent many years close to nature, walking in the hills, swimming in lakes, and exploring the countryside. These childhood experiences later became a strong foundation for his poetry, where nature plays a central role. In 1787, Wordsworth went to St. John's College, Cambridge. He was not a very serious student in terms of academic competition, but he loved reading and thinking. During his university years, he took a walking tour of Europe, especially the Alps, which made a strong impression on him. After finishing his degree in 1791, he traveled to France during the time of the French Revolution. At first, he strongly supported the revolution because he believed in liberty, equality, and justice for common people. While in France, he fell in love with a French woman named Annette Vallon. They had a daughter named Caroline. However, due to political problems and war between England and France, Wordsworth had to return to England, leaving Annette and his daughter behind. This separation caused him emotional pain and financial difficulty. The violence and chaos of the French Revolution later disappointed Wordsworth. He became confused and depressed when he saw that the revolution did not bring the peace and justice he had hoped for. During this difficult time, he met Samuel Taylor Coleridge in 1795. This friendship became one of the most important literary partnerships in English history. Coleridge and Wordsworth encouraged each other and shared many ideas about poetry, imagination, and nature. In 1798, they published a collection of poems called Lyrical Ballads. This book is considered the beginning of the English Romantic movement. Wordsworth wrote many poems in this collection, including Tintern Abbey, which shows his deep spiritual connection with nature. In this poem, he explains how nature gives him peace, joy, and moral strength. Wordsworth believed that poetry should be written in simple language, the language of common people. He did not like the artificial and highly decorated style of earlier poets. In the preface to Lyrical Ballads, which he expanded in 1800 and 1802, he explained his theory of poetry. He said that poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings, and that it takes its origin from emotion recollected in tranquility. This means that a poet feels deeply, and later remembers those feelings calmly and turns them into poetry. He wanted to show that ordinary life and simple rural people were worthy subjects for serious poetry. In 1799, Wordsworth moved to Grasmere in the Lake District with his sister, Dorothy Wordsworth. Dorothy was very close to William and supported him throughout his life. She kept journals in which she described nature in beautiful detail. Her observations often inspired William's poems. In 1802, Wordsworth married Mary Hutchinson, a childhood friend. They had 5 children together. Unfortunately, 2 of their children died at a young age, which caused great sorrow in the family. Despite these personal tragedies, Wordsworth continued to write poetry. One of his most famous poems, I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud, also known as Daffodils, was inspired by a walk he took with Dorothy, during which they saw a large number of daffodils dancing in the wind. This simple scene became a powerful symbol of joy and the beauty of nature. Another important poem, Ode Intimations of Immortality, reflects his belief that children have a special spiritual connection to heaven, and that this connection fades as they grow older. In many of his poems, he shows how childhood is a time of purity and closeness to nature. Wordsworth spent much of his life in the Lake District, especially at Dove Cottage in Grasmere, and later at Rydal Mount. These places became centers of literary activity. Many writers and visitors came to meet him. Over time, his political views changed. As he grew older, he became more conservative and supported traditional institutions like the church and the monarchy. Some of his early supporters were disappointed by this change, but Wordsworth believed that stability and order were important for society. In addition to short lyric poems, Wordsworth worked for many years on a long autobiographical poem called The Prelude. This poem describes the growth of his own mind and his development as a poet. It is written in blank verse and is considered one of his greatest achievements. However, it was not published during his lifetime. It was published after his death in 1850 by his wife Mary. In The Prelude, Wordsworth explains how nature, childhood experiences, and the French Revolution shaped his thoughts and imagination. In 1813, Wordsworth was appointed as the distributor of stamps for Westmoreland, a government position that provided him with financial security. This allowed him to focus more on his writing. In 1843, after the death of the poet Robert Southey, Wordsworth was made the Poet Laureate of England. This was a great honor and showed that he was widely respected. However, by this time he was older and wrote very little new poetry. Throughout his life, Wordsworth remained deeply connected to the natural world. He believed that nature was not just beautiful scenery, but a living presence that could teach moral lessons and bring spiritual comfort. For him, nature was like a guide and a friend. He often described mountains, rivers, clouds, and flowers with deep emotion and respect. His poetry encourages readers to slow down, observe the world around them, and find meaning in simple experiences. William Wordsworth died on 23 April 1850 at Rydal Mount in the Lake District. He was 80 years old. He was buried in the churchyard of St. Oswald's Church in Grasmere. After his death, his reputation continued to grow. Today, he is remembered as one of the greatest poets in English literature and a leading figure of Romanticism. His works are studied in schools and universities around the world. His focus on nature, emotion, childhood, and the power of memory changed the direction of English poetry and influenced many poets who came after him.